Naomi's grief lives in ink, spilled weekly beside her husband's grave. But when a letter escapes on the wind and lands at the feet of a stranger, her quiet ritual sparks a connection that could change everything. Before we get into the story, comment below where in the world you are watching from today. Layla Monroe stared at her laptop screen, the clock in the corner showing 2:17 a.m. Her eyes burned, but she couldn't stop now. This job application had to be perfect. After 6 months of rejections, her bank account was nearly empty, and her landlord was getting impatient. Just a few more tweaks, she mumbled, adjusting the spacing on her resume for the 10th time. The position at Davenport & Keene wasn't just any job, it was the job. Personal assistant to the executive team at one of New York's most prestigious design tech firms. The salary alone would change everything. Layla took a sip of cold coffee and grimaced. Her tiny studio apartment was cluttered with sketches of clothing designs she'd dreamed of creating someday. Fashion had always been her passion, but dreams didn't pay the rent. She clicked through to her email, attaching what she thought was her polished resume. Her eyes were so heavy she could barely focus on the screen. Subject line, she reminded herself. Make it stand out, she typed. A little about me, Layla Monroe for executive assistant position, and hit send before she could second-guess herself. Relief washed over her as she closed her laptop. Finally, she could sleep. Tomorrow she'd start hoping. Rowan Keene arrived at his office at 6:30 a.m., as he did every morning. At 31, he was already a success story, co-founder and CEO of Davenport & Keene, a company valued at over $200 million. The glass-walled corner office offered a stunning view of Manhattan, but Rowan barely noticed it anymore. He scrolled through emails on his phone while his assistant, Marcus, briefed him on the day's schedule. The design team needs your approval. On the Cooper project by noon, your lunch with the investors is at 1 cray, and HR sent over some candidates for the new executive assistant position. Rowan nodded absently. Tell HR I don't have time to look at resumes, just hire whoever they think is best. Of course, Marcus said, turning to leave. Rowan was about to set his phone down when an email subject line caught his eye. A little about me. Most applicants sent boring, formal subject lines. This one was different. Curious, he opened it, his brow furrowed as he began reading. This wasn't a resume, not even close. April 15th. I got rejected again today. That's the third interview this month that went nowhere. The woman at the agency said I was too creative for an administrative role. What does that even mean? Too alive? Too much? It's the same thing Jake said when he left. You're just too much, Layla. Too much of what? Too much hope, too much heart. Not enough money, that's for sure. Had ramen for the 4th night in a row. Mom called to ask if I needed help again. I said no. I can't keep taking her money. She's barely getting by herself. Rowan should have stopped reading. This was clearly sent by mistake, but something about the raw honesty in the words kept him scrolling. April 28th. Sketched 3 new designs. Today. The red dress with the asymmetrical hemline might actually work, if I ever had the money to make it, if anyone would ever take me seriously. Sometimes I wonder if I'm just fooling myself. Everyone from design school is doing something with their lives. Mia's working for that boutique in Soho. Tyler got picked up by that label in LA. And I'm still here, still invisible, still dreaming while my reality falls apart. Rowan felt something stir inside him, a feeling he couldn't quite name. It had been years since he'd read anything this honest, this unfiltered. May 10th. There's a position open at Davenport & Keene. It's just an assistant job, but it's a foot in the door. The kind of place where dreams actually happen. I'm probably not qualified. I'm probably going to get rejected again, but I have to try. I have this feeling that if I could just get someone, anyone, to really see me, everything could change. Rowan set the phone down, unsettled. The woman who wrote this, Layla Monroe, had no idea her private thoughts were now in his hands. He should delete the email, pretend he never saw it. Instead, he called HR. The applicant named Layla Monroe, he said. Don't consider her for the position. May I ask why, sir? The HR director asked, sounding surprised. Just trust me on this, Rowan said, then hung up. He sat for a long moment staring out at the city. Then he picked up his phone and called the flower shop in the lobby of his building. Layla woke up late, her head pounding from too little sleep. She reached for her phone, checking her email. With bleary eyes. Nothing from Davenport and Keene yet. She'd have to be patient. She shuffled to the bathroom, splashing cold water on her face. As she reached for a towel, a sudden, horrible thought hit her. "No," she whispered. "No, no, no." She raced back to her laptop, fumbling to open it. She checked her sent emails, her heart sinking as she opened the attachment. It wasn't her resume. It was her diary. Pages and pages of her most private thoughts. Her fears, her failures, her broken heart laid bare for strangers to see. "Oh God," she moaned, sinking to the floor. How could she have been so careless, so stupid? Her phone buzzed with an email notification. Davenport and Keene. With shaking hands, she opened it. "Dear Ms. Monroe, thank you for your interest in the executive assistant position at Davenport and Keene. After careful consideration, we regret to inform you that we will not be moving forward with your application at this time. We wish you the best in your future endeavors. Sincerely, Human Resources Department." Davenport and Keene. Layla wasn't surprised. Of course they wouldn't hire someone who couldn't even attach the right file to an email. Someone who'd shared her pathetic private thoughts instead of her qualifications. She spent the morning in bed, too embarrassed to face the world. Around noon, her phone rang. It was the reception desk of her building. "Ms. Monroe, there's a package for you at the front desk." Confused, Layla threw on some clothes and went downstairs. The doorman handed her a beautiful arrangement of wildflowers, not the perfect identical blooms you'd get from a standard florist, but vibrant, unruly flowers that looked like they'd been gathered from a meadow. There was a small envelope attached. Inside was a handwritten note. "The world would be lucky to have someone who feels this deeply. You deserve more than a job. You deserve to be seen." Layla stared at the note, her mind racing. R? Who was R? And then it hit her. Someone at Davenport and Keene had read her diary. Not just anyone. Someone with money. Someone with power. Someone who felt sorry for her. Anger flared in her chest, replacing the embarrassment. She didn't want pity. She didn't want flowers. She wanted a chance. Before she could talk herself out of it, she grabbed the flowers and headed for the subway. She was going to return them. She was going to face whoever had read her most private thoughts. Rowan was in the middle of a meeting when his assistant knocked on the door. "I'm sorry to interrupt, sir, but there's a young woman in reception insisting on seeing you. She says her name is Layla Monroe." Rowan felt his heart skip. He hadn't expected this. "Tell them I'll be right there." He excused himself from the meeting and headed to the reception area. When the elevator doors opened, he saw her immediately. She stood in the center of the sleek modern lobby, holding the wildflowers he'd sent. She wore jeans and a simple blue top, her dark hair falling in waves around her shoulders. She looked nothing like the polished professionals who usually moved through this space. She looked real. Their eyes met, and Rowan felt something shift inside him. He'd read her words, but seeing her in person was different. She wasn't just words. On a screen, she was a person, fierce and vulnerable all at once. He approached her, extending his hand. "I'm Rowan Keene." Layla stared at him, recognition dawning on her face. "You're R." "I am." She thrust the flowers toward him. "I don't want these." "I understand." "No, you don't," she said, her voice stronger now. "You don't know me. You read something you were never supposed to see, and now you feel sorry for me." "Well, I don't need your pity." Rowan looked at her thoughtfully. It wasn't pity. Then what was it? "Recognition," he said simply. Layla blinked, caught off guard. "Come up to my office," Rowan said. "Please, just for a few minutes, let me explain." Against her better judgment, Layla followed him to the elevator. As they rode up in silence, she stole glances at him. He wasn't what she'd expected. There was something quiet about him, contained. His dark hair was neatly trimmed, his suit perfectly tailored, but it was his eyes that surprised her. They were kind. In his office, he gestured for her to sit. The flowers still clutched in her hands, she perched on the edge of a chair. "I owe you an apology," Rowan began. "I should have stopped reading as soon as I realized what it was, but I didn't." "Why not?" "Because it was the most honest thing I've read in years." Layla stared at him, unsure how to respond. "You wrote about wanting someone to see you," he continued. "I did. I saw someone with passion and heart, someone who deserves more than an assistant job." "You don't know what I deserve," Layla said. "You read a few pages of my private thoughts and think you understand me. My whole life." "No," Rowan admitted. "You're right, I don't. But I understand dreams that seem out of reach." He walked to the window, looking out at the city. "You want to design clothes, you have sketches." Layla felt exposed again. "So," Rowan turned back to her, "I didn't give you the job because I realized I want to give you something else. Something I probably have no right to offer." "What's that?" "A chance, resources to start the fashion line you've always dreamed of. No strings attached, just belief." Layla stood up, her face flushed. "This is crazy. You don't even know if I'm any good." "Are you?" The question caught her off guard. "Yes," she said finally. "I am, but that's not the point. The point is you can't just save me because you read my diary and felt something. That's not how the real world works." "Maybe it should be," Rowan said quietly. Layla shook her head, setting the flowers down on his desk. "I have to go." "Wait," Rowan said. He pulled a business card from his pocket and wrote something on the back. "This is my personal number. If you change your mind, call me. No pressure, just an open door." Layla took the card, not meeting his eyes. "Goodbye, Mr. Keene." As the elevator doors closed behind her, Rowan stood alone in his office, surrounded by the success he'd built and the wildflowers she'd left behind. For the first time in years, he felt something wake up inside him, something that had been sleeping for so long he'd forgotten it was there. Layla couldn't sleep that night. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying her conversation with Rowan Keene over and over in her mind. His business card sat on her nightstand, the handwritten phone number taunting her. "This is insane," she muttered, turning onto her side. The man had read her diary, her private thoughts, and now he wanted to help her. It felt like something out of a movie, not real life. In real life, people didn't just offer to make your dreams come true, especially not powerful, handsome CEOs who lived in glass towers. Her phone rang, startling her. It was her mother. "Hi, Mom," Layla said, trying to sound normal. "How did the interview go?" her mother asked, hope evident in her voice. Layla hadn't told her about the diary mishap. "I didn't get it." There was a pause on the other end of the line. "I'm sorry, honey, something will come along soon." "I know." Layla didn't mention the flowers or Rowan's offer. It sounded too crazy to say out loud. "How's the money situation? Do you need me to send anything?" "No, Mom, I'm fine." It was a lie. Her rent was due in a week, and she had barely enough to cover it. After that, she'd have nothing left for food or bills. "Are you sure?" "I got a few extra hours at the store this week." "I'm sure," Layla insisted. "You need that money more than I do." Her mother had been working 2 jobs since Layla's father left when she was 12. She'd never let Layla see how hard things were, but Layla knew. After they hung up, Layla looked at her sketches spread across her tiny apartment. They were good. She knew they were good. But good wasn't enough in New York. You needed connections. Money, luck, or a mysterious benefactor who'd read your diary by accident. She picked up Rowan's card and stared at it for a long moment. Then she grabbed her phone and dialed the number before she could change her mind. He answered on the second ring. "Rowan Keene." "It's Layla Monroe," she said, her voice steadier than she expected. "I want to hear more about your offer." The next morning, Layla met Rowan at a small cafe in Chelsea, far from his corporate office. He was already there when she arrived, dressed more casually than the day before in dark jeans and a simple grey sweater. Without the suit, he looked younger, more approachable. "Thank you for meeting me," he said as she slid into the seat across from him. "I'm still not sure why I'm here," Layla admitted. A waitress came to take their order. Rowan asked for black coffee. Layla ordered the same, though she preferred it with cream and sugar. She didn't want him to pay for anything extra. "I've been thinking about how to explain this," Rowan said after the waitress left, "about why I want to help you." "That would be nice," Layla said, "because from where I'm sitting it makes no sense." Rowan smiled slightly. "Fair enough." He paused, gathering his thoughts. "Do you know much about me?" About how I started my company. Layla shook her head. I was 23, fresh out of grad school. My partner, Alex Davenport, and I had an idea for a new kind of design software. We needed funding, but no one would take us seriously. His eyes grew distant, remembering. We were about to give up when we met Gerald Winters, the venture capitalist. Rowan nodded. He read our business plan and saw something in it that everyone else had missed. He gave us the money we needed. No strings attached, just belief. And now you want to pay it forward? Layla asked skeptically. Something like that, Rowan said. But it's more than that. What you wrote in your diary, it reminded me of something I've lost. The hunger, the pure wanting of something so badly it hurts. Their coffee arrived and Layla wrapped her hands around the warm mug, studying him. So here's my offer, Rowan continued. I'll provide the resources you need to create a small collection, 5 or 6 pieces to start. I'll connect you with the right people to help with production, and I'll introduce you to some key players in the industry who can give you real feedback. Why? Because I can. Because I think you deserve a chance. And what do you get out of it? Layla asked, still suspicious. Rowan considered her question. Honestly, I'm not sure. Maybe nothing. Maybe the satisfaction of helping someone. Maybe a reminder of why I started all this in the first place. Layla took a sip of her coffee, wincing at the bitterness. This sounds too good to be true. It's not charity, Rowan said, as if reading her mind. It's an investment. If you succeed, that's my return. And if I fail, then you fail, but you'll have tried. Isn't that worth something? Layla thought about her tiny apartment, her dwindling bank account, her mother working 2 jobs. She thought about her sketches gathering dust, her dreams slipping, further away each day. Yes, she said finally, it's worth something. 2 weeks later, Layla stood in a small studio space in the garment district, surrounded by bolts of fabric and dress forms. The space was simple but perfect. Large windows let in natural light, and there was enough room for her to work comfortably. Rowan had been true to his word. He'd arranged everything. The studio, the materials, even an assistant who came in 3 days a week to help with the sewing. He'd introduced her to a pattern maker who had worked with some of the biggest names in fashion. And he'd done it all without making her feel like a charity case. Layla ran her hands over a length of deep red silk, the exact shade she'd described in her diary for the asymmetrical dress. It was surreal, seeing her ideas start to take physical form. The door opened and Rowan walked in. He'd been checking in regularly, usually just for a few minutes at a time. Today he carried 2 cups of coffee. I noticed you don't actually like it black, he said, handing her one of the cups. Cream and 2 sugars, right? Layla took the coffee, surprised. How did you know? I pay attention, he said simply. Something warm unfurled in Layla's chest. She quickly pushed it away. This was business, just business. I wanted to show you something, she said, setting down the coffee and moving to a work table where her sketches were laid out. I've been refining the designs for the collection. Rowan stood beside her, looking at the drawings. He was close, enough that she could smell his cologne, something clean and subtle. These are incredible, he said, studying each sketch carefully. Especially this one. He pointed to the red dress. That's the first piece I'm making, Layla said. I wanted to start with something I feel really confident about. Smart, Rowan nodded. When do you think it will be ready? A few days, maybe a week. The pattern maker is coming tomorrow to help with the final adjustments. Rowan checked his watch. I have to get back to the office, board meeting. He hesitated, then asked, would you like to have dinner tomorrow night to discuss your progress? Layla felt her heart skip. Was this still just business? I don't know if that's a good idea. It's just dinner, Rowan said. We can meet somewhere. Public, completely professional. Layla looked at him, at his kind eyes, his careful distance. He'd done nothing to make her uncomfortable, just the opposite. He'd respected her space, her vision. Okay, she said. Dinner. After Rowan left, Layla sat at her work table, sipping the coffee he'd brought, perfectly prepared, just the way she liked it. She tried to ignore the flutter in her stomach when she thought about seeing him tomorrow night. This wasn't a date. It was a business meeting. She couldn't afford to forget that. They met at a small Italian restaurant in the West Village. It was elegant but not flashy, white tablecloths and candles, but no snooty waiters or three-figure entrees. Rowan was already seated when she arrived, looking through emails on his phone. He stood when he saw her, his eyes taking in her simple black dress. It was one of her own designs, made a year ago when she still had access to the equipment at school. "You look beautiful," he said, then quickly added, "That dress is incredible. Did you make it?" Layla nodded, sliding into her seat. "Last year. It's nothing special?" "I disagree," Rowan said. "The cut is unique. The way it drapes, it's subtle but distinctive." Layla felt herself blush. She wasn't used to having her work noticed, especially not by someone who knew what they were talking about. They ordered wine and food, and the conversation flowed more easily than Layla had expected. Rowan told her about growing up in Boston, the son of a literature professor and a nurse. He talked about starting his company, about the early days when he and Alex Davenport had worked out of a tiny apartment, sleeping in shifts because there was only one desk. "What about your family?" Rowan asked. "You mentioned your mother in your—" He stopped, realizing he was referring to her diary. "It's okay," Layla said. "You can say it. My diary. The one you weren't supposed to read." She smiled to show she wasn't angry anymore. "Tell me about her," Rowan said, returning her smile. "She's amazing," Layla said. "She raised me on her own after my dad left, worked 2 jobs to make sure I had everything I needed. She wanted me to go to college, to have opportunities she never had. She must be proud of you." Layla looked down at her plate. "I haven't exactly lived up to her hopes yet. She spent her savings to help me go to design school, and now I'm—" She trailed off. "Now you're starting your own line," Rowan finished for her, "with a studio in the garment district. Thanks to you." "No," Rowan shook his head. "Thanks to your talent. I'm just providing the tools. You're doing the work." Their eyes met across the table, and something passed between them, a moment of connection that went beyond mentor and protege, beyond business. "Why did you really help me, Rowan?" Layla asked softly. Rowan was quiet for a long moment. "The truth?" Layla nodded. "I read what you wrote about feeling invisible, about watching everyone else get ahead while you were stuck. And it hit me that I've become one of those people, the ones who don't see. I've spent years building this company, making money, chasing success, but I stopped seeing people as anything other than assets or obstacles." He paused. "Then I read your words, and I saw you, really saw you, and I realized how much I've been missing." Layla felt her breath catch. No one had ever spoken to her like this, with such honesty, such vulnerability. "So you're saying I'm like a charity case for your soul?" she asked, but there was no bite in her words. Rowan laughed. "Maybe we're helping each other." After dinner, he walked her to the subway. The night was cool, and Layla wrapped her arms around herself, wishing she'd brought a jacket. Without a word, Rowan took off his suit jacket and placed it over her shoulders. The warmth of his body still lingered in the fabric. "Thank you," she said. "For dinner, for everything." "You don't have to keep thanking me," Rowan said. "This isn't charity, remember?" "Then what is it?" Rowan looked at her, his eyes serious in the glow of the streetlight. "I'm not sure yet, but I'd like to find out." He leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull away. But Layla didn't move. His lips met hers, soft and questioning. The kiss was brief, just a gentle pressure, but it sent a shock through Layla's entire body. When they broke apart, Layla saw uncertainty in Rowan's eyes. "I shouldn't have done that," he said. "I promised this would be professional." "I think we passed professional about 10 minutes into dinner," Layla said, trying to sound lighter than she felt. "I should go," Rowan said. "Early meeting tomorrow." Layla nodded, not trusting herself to speak. She handed him back his jacket. "Good night, Layla," he said, his voice low. "Good night, Rowan." As she watched him walk away, Layla felt a mix of emotions she couldn't quite sort out. Excitement, fear, hope, and something else, something that felt dangerously like falling. The red dress took shape over the next few days. Layla worked tirelessly, pouring all her confusion and excitement into every stitch. The pattern maker helped with the technical aspects, but the vision was all Layla's. She didn't hear from Rowan. No calls, no texts, No surprise visits to the studio, just silence. Had she imagined the connection between them? Had the kiss been a mistake he now regretted? On the 5th day, the dress was finally ready. Layla stood back, looking at it on the dress form. It was exactly as she'd imagined it. Bold yet elegant, with the asymmetrical hemline creating a sense of movement even when still. Her phone buzzed with a text. "Rowan, can we talk? Coffee at the studio in an hour?" Layla's heart raced. "Yes," she replied. When he arrived, his face was serious. He looked tired, like he hadn't been sleeping well. "The dress is finished," Layla said, gesturing to it, trying to keep things normal. Rowan barely glanced at it. "Layla, I need to apologize." "For what?" "For kissing you. For crossing a line. This arrangement was supposed to be about your career." "Not He trailed off. "Not what?" Layla asked, a hard edge creeping into her voice. "Not feelings," Rowan said. "Not complications." "I see." Layla turned away, fighting the sting of rejection. "So you're having second thoughts about helping me?" "No," Rowan said quickly. "God, no, that's not what this is about. He ran a hand through his hair, frustrated. "I don't want you to feel obligated in any way. I don't want you to think that my help comes with expectations." Layla turned to face him. "Did it feel like I was kissing you out of obligation?" Rowan looked at her, his expression unreadable. "I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know what any of this is." "Neither do I," Layla admitted. "But I do know that I don't kiss people I don't want to kiss, and I don't accept help from people I don't trust." They stood in silence, the red dress between them like a third presence in the room. "I'm scared," Rowan finally said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Of what? Of how fast this is happening? Of how much I think about you? Of messing this up?" He gestured to the dress, the studio. "I don't want to ruin your chance." Layla moved closer to him. "You won't." "How do you know?" "Because I won't let you," she said simply. "This is my dream, Rowan. I'm grateful for your help, but I'm not giving up control, not of my career and not of my feelings." Rowan looked at her with something like wonder. "You're extraordinary, you know that?" "No," Layla shook her head. "I'm just real. Maybe that's what you're not used to." Rowan stepped forward, closing the distance between them. "Can I kiss you again? Not out of obligation or confusion or anything else, just because I want to." Instead of answering, Layla reached up and pulled him down to her. This kiss was different. From their first, deeper, more certain. When they broke apart, they were both breathing hard. "I still don't know what this is," Rowan said, his forehead resting against hers. "Then, let's find out," Layla replied. Together. The next few weeks passed in a blur of activity. Layla threw herself into completing her small collection, working long hours at the studio. The red dress was just the beginning. There was a sleek pantsuit with unexpected cutouts, a flowing evening gown that transformed with movement, and 3 other pieces that showcased her unique vision. Rowan came by regularly, sometimes bringing coffee, sometimes takeout when she worked late. They were careful with each other, navigating this new territory between professional and personal. There were more kisses, quiet conversations, moments of connection that left Layla breathless. But there were complications too. "I have to fly to San Francisco tomorrow," Rowan told her one evening as they sat on the floor of the studio sharing Chinese food. "There's a tech conference. I'll be gone for 3 days." "I'll miss you," Layla said, surprising herself with how easily the words came out. Rowan smiled, reaching over to tuck a strand of hair behind her ear. "I'll miss you too." "Is this crazy?" Layla asked, setting down her chopsticks. "What we're doing? You're basically my sponsor, and here we are." "Here we are," Rowan agreed. "And yes, it's a little crazy, but I've been thinking about it, and I realized something. If we'd met any other way, at a party, through friends, anywhere, I would have wanted to know you. I would have been drawn to you regardless." "How can you be sure?" "Because I've never felt this way about anyone before," Rowan said simply. "And it has nothing to do with your career or my help. It's just you, Layla." She wanted to believe him. She almost did. but there was still a nagging doubt in the back of her mind. What if he was only interested because he'd read her diary? What if he'd created an idea of her in his mind that the real Layla could never live up to? "What are you thinking?" Rowan asked, noticing her silence. "I'm thinking that we still don't really know each other," Layla said. "Not the way people usually do when they start whatever this is." "Then let's fix that," Rowan said. "Let's play a game, truth for truth. You ask me anything and I'll answer honestly, then I do the same." Layla considered it. "Okay, you first. What scares you the most?" Rowan asked. "Easy. Failing," Layla said without hesitation. "Wasting my one chance. Letting down everyone who believes in me." She paused. "My turn. What's your biggest regret?" Rowan was quiet for a moment. "Losing touch with my sister." This surprised Layla. "You have a sister?" "Half-sister, technically. Claire. She's 10 years younger than me. When our father died, my stepmother took her back to England. I was already in college, focused on my future. I told myself I'd stay in touch, visit regularly. But then the company started taking off and I got busy. Calls became less frequent. Visits were postponed." "How long has it been since you've seen her?" 3 years, Rowan admitted. "She's 17 now. We email occasionally, but it's not the same. I missed her growing up." Layla reached out and took his hand. "It's not too late, you know. She's still young." "I know. I'm going to visit her this summer. I already bought the ticket." He squeezed her hand. "My turn again. What's the one thing you've never told anyone?" Layla thought for a moment. "I'm terrified that I don't have what it takes, that all this," she gestured around the studio, "is just delaying the inevitable failure." "I don't believe that," Rowan said. "Not for a second." "You haven't even seen my work on a real person yet," Layla pointed out. Rowan's eyes lit up. "Actually, that gives me an idea. There's a charity gala next week, hosted by the New York Fashion Foundation. I was planning to attend anyway." "What? What if you came with me? And what if the dress you wear is one of your own designs?" Layla's heart raced at the thought. "You mean like a debut?" "Exactly. A soft launch for your brand. I know some key people who will be there. Editors, buyers. I could introduce you." "I don't know, Rowan. I'm not sure I'm ready." "The collection is almost done, right?" he asked. "The red dress is perfect. Wear that. Let people see what you can do." The idea was both thrilling and terrifying. To wear her own design at a high-profile event, to meet people who could help launch her career, it was a chance she couldn't pass up. "Okay," she said finally. "I'll do it." The night of the gala arrived. Layla stood in her apartment, looking at herself in the mirror. The red dress fit perfectly, the asymmetrical hemline creating a dramatic line that showcased her legs, while remaining elegant. She'd kept her makeup simple and pulled her hair back in a sleek bun to let the dress be the focus. Her phone buzzed with a text from Rowan. "Car is downstairs. Can't wait to see you." As she stepped out of her building, she saw not just any car, but a sleek black limousine waiting at the curb. The driver opened the door, and there was Rowan, handsome in a black tuxedo. His eyes widened when he saw her. "Layla," he breathed, "you look... that dress is incredible." She smiled, suddenly shy. "Thank you." The ride to the gala was quiet, both of them nervous for different reasons. Rowan reached over and took her hand, his thumb tracing circles on her palm. "Whatever happens tonight," he said, "remember that you belong there just as much as anyone else." The venue was a historic building in Midtown, its grand ballroom transformed with twinkling lights and massive floral arrangements. As they walked in, Layla felt people's eyes on her, on the dress. She stood a little straighter, drawing confidence from Rowan's steady presence beside her. Rowan Keane, a sleek woman in her 50s, approached them, air-kissing Rowan's cheeks. "So glad you could make it. Marissa," Rowan smiled. "I'd like you to meet Layla Monroe." "Layla, this is Marissa Winters, editor-in-chief of Style and Culture magazine." Layla extended her hand, trying to hide her nervousness. "It's a pleasure to meet you." Marissa's eyes roamed over Layla's dress with a professional assessment. "That dress is stunning. Who's the designer?" Layla hesitated, then lifted her chin. "I am," Marissa's eyebrows rose. You? Well, well. It's been a while since I've seen something this fresh. Are you launching a line? She is, Rowan answered before Layla could speak. A small collection to start, very exclusive. I'd love to see more, Marissa said, handing Layla a business card from her clutch. Call my office. We might be able to feature you in our new talent section. As Marissa moved away, Layla turned to Rowan, wide-eyed. Did that just happen? It did, Rowan grinned. And that's just the beginning. Throughout the evening, Rowan introduced her to more people, buyers, designers, influencers. The response to her dress was overwhelmingly positive. By the end of the night, she had a stack of business cards and potential opportunities. I can't believe this, she said as they stepped outside for some air. The night was cool but clear, the stars barely visible above the city lights. It's like a dream. You earned it, Rowan said. Your talent did this, not me. But you gave me the platform, Layla pointed out. Without you, I'd still be sending out resumes and eating ramen. Rowan turned to face her, taking both her hands in his. Layla, listen to me. Yes, I opened a door, but you walked through it. You created that dress. You impressed those people tonight. That was all you. Layla looked up at him, at the sincerity in his eyes, and felt something shift inside her. This man who had every reason to be arrogant, to take credit, was instead lifting her up, making sure she knew her own worth. I think I'm falling in love with you, she said softly, the words escaping before she could stop them. Rowan's eyes widened, and for a horrible moment, Layla thought she'd made a terrible mistake. Then he pulled her close, his arms wrapping around her. I fell for you the moment I read your diary, he whispered against her hair, not because of what you wrote, but because of how you wrote it, with your whole heart. He kissed her then, under the New York sky, not caring who might see. When they broke apart, they were both smiling. Let's get out of here, Rowan said. I want to take you somewhere special. The limousine took them to the Brooklyn Bridge. At this late hour, it was nearly empty. They walked hand in hand along the pedestrian path, the Manhattan skyline glittering across the water. I used to come here when I first moved to New York, Rowan said. Whenever I felt overwhelmed or lost, something about standing between two boroughs suspended over water, it helped me find perspective. It's beautiful, Layla said, leaning against the railing. Not as beautiful as you, Rowan said, then laughed at himself. That was cheesy, wasn't it? A little, Layla smiled, but I liked it anyway. They stood in comfortable silence for a while, watching the few cars that passed below them, the lights of boats on the water. Tonight changed everything, Layla said finally. I have real opportunities now. People want to see my work, feature it, maybe even buy it. Are you ready for that? Layla nodded. I think I am. But it means I need to focus on the collection, finish the pieces, prepare for meetings. Of course, Rowan said. You should take all the time you need. What about us? Layla asked, turning to face him. Where do we go from here? Wherever you want, Rowan said. I'm not going anywhere, Layla, unless you want me to. I don't, she said quickly. But I'm worried about mixing business and personal, about what people will say. What people? The industry. They'll think I only got these opportunities because I'm sleeping with you, Rowan frowned. Are you sleeping with me, I mean? No, Layla said. Not yet. Then they'd be wrong, wouldn't they? Rowan stepped closer. Listen to me. People will always talk. They'll always try to diminish your accomplishments. But we know the truth. Your talent got you here. And what's between us? That's separate. That's ours. Layla wanted to believe him. But the world didn't work that way, especially not the fashion world, where connections and perceptions were everything. I think, she said slowly, that we need to be careful, at least for now. Until my collection launches properly. Rowan studied her face. You want to keep us a secret? Not a secret, just private. For a little while. She could see he was disappointed, but he nodded. If that's what you need, that's what we'll do. Thank you for understanding. I'd wait for you, Layla Monroe, Rowan said softly. However long it takes. They walked back, to the car, hands linked, both lost in thought. The night had been a triumph for Layla's career. But as the city passed by outside the limousine windows, she couldn't help wondering if she was making a mistake by holding Rowan at arm's length. The weeks that followed were the busiest of Layla's life. She finished the collection, had professional photos taken, and met with potential buyers and press. The article in Style and Culture magazine was scheduled for the next issue, featuring Layla as an emerging designer to watch. Rowan kept his distance publicly, as she'd asked. He still came by the studio, still called and texted, but they were careful not to be seen together at industry events. When Layla had meetings with people Rowan knew, he made sure he wasn't there, letting her forge her own connections. It was what she'd wanted. So why did it feel so wrong? One rainy afternoon, Layla was working late at the studio when her phone rang. It was her mother. "Mom, I was just thinking about you. I have so much to tell you." "Layla," her mother's voice was strained. "I need to talk to you." Layla sat down, immediately concerned. "What's wrong?" "I've been having some tests done for the headaches I told you about." Layla's grip tightened on the phone. "And?" "They found something. A tumor. They don't know yet if it's—" Her mother's voice broke. "Mom," Layla whispered, her heart pounding. "I'm coming home. Right now." "No, honey. You don't have to." "Yes, I do. I'll be on the next flight to Chicago." After hanging up, Layla sat frozen, the world suddenly tilted on its axis. Her mother, the strongest person she knew, the woman who had sacrificed everything for her, was sick. Possibly seriously. Sick. Without thinking, she called Rowan. "Layla," he answered immediately. "What's wrong?" "It's my mom," she said, her voice breaking. "She's sick. I need to go to Chicago right away." "I'll be there in 20 minutes, Rowan said without hesitation. "Pack what you need." True to his word, Rowan arrived at the studio exactly 20 minutes later. One look at Layla's face told him everything he needed to know. He pulled her into his arms, holding her as she finally let the tears come. "I've got you," he murmured into her hair. "I've got you." When she could speak again, Layla pulled back, wiping her eyes. "I need to book a flight." "Already done," Rowan said. "My car is downstairs. We'll go to your apartment so you can pack, then straight to the airport. The flight leaves in 3 hours. "We?" Layla asked. "Unless you'd rather go alone," Rowan said. "But I thought you might want someone with you." Layla felt a fresh wave of tears. "You would do that, just drop everything." "For you?" Rowan's eyes were serious. "In a heartbeat." In that moment, Layla realized how much she'd been holding back, how afraid she'd been to fully trust what was happening between them. But here he was, steady and sure when she needed him most. "Thank you," she whispered. The flight to Chicago was quiet. Layla stared out the window, lost in thought, while Rowan worked on his laptop beside her, occasionally reaching over to squeeze her hand. When they landed, a car was waiting to take them to the hospital. Layla had insisted they go there directly, not even stopping at her mother's apartment first. In the hospital corridor, Layla paused outside her mother's room, suddenly nervous. Rowan sensed her hesitation. "Do you want me to wait out here?" he asked. Layla shook her head. "No, I want her to meet you." They entered the room together. Layla's mother was sitting up in bed, looking tired but alert. Her face lit up when she saw her daughter. "Layla, I told you not to come rushing out here." Layla moved quickly to the bed, hugging her mother carefully. "As if I wouldn't." "And who's this?" her mother asked, looking past Layla to Rowan. "Mom, this is Rowan Keane. Rowan, this is my mother, Eleanor Monroe." Rowan stepped forward, extending his hand. "It's a pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Monroe. I've heard wonderful things about you." Eleanor studied him with interest. "Rowan Keane? The tech company owner?" Rowan nodded, surprised. "You've heard of me?" "I read the business section," Eleanor smiled. "And my daughter has mentioned you, though not as much as she probably should have, judging by the way you two look at each other." Layla felt herself blush. "Mom!" Eleanor laughed, then winced slightly. Layla was immediately concerned. "Are you in pain? Should I call the nurse?" "I'm fine," Eleanor assured her. "Just a headache. The doctor should be by soon with the latest test results." Rowan touched Layla's shoulder. "I'll go find some coffee for all of us. Give you two some time to talk." After he left, Eleanor turned to her daughter. He's handsome. And he flew all the way out here with you? He did, Layla said. He's been helping me, Mom, with my designs. He's the reason I have a studio, materials, everything. I see. Eleanor's expression was thoughtful. And is that all he is, a benefactor? Layla sighed. No, it's more than that. But it's complicated. Love usually is, honey. Layla looked up sharply. I didn't say anything about love. Eleanor smiled. Knowingly. You didn't have to. Before Layla could respond, the doctor entered, clipboard in hand. Rowan returned moments later with coffee, standing quietly by the door as the doctor explained the situation. The tumor was benign. It could be removed with surgery, followed by a course of radiation to ensure it didn't return. The prognosis was good. Excellent, even. Layla felt the tension drain from her body, replaced by overwhelming relief. She gripped her mother's hand, tears of joy replacing those of fear. Later, when Eleanor was resting, Layla and Rowan sat in the hospital cafeteria. She's going to be okay, Layla said, still hardly believing it. The surgery is scheduled for next week. That's wonderful news, Rowan said, reaching across the table to take her hand. You'll stay until then? Layla nodded. And probably a few days after, to help her get settled at home. What about you? I know you have the company to run. I'll fly back tomorrow, Rowan said, but I'll come back for the surgery if that's okay with you. You would do that? Layla. Rowan's voice was gentle. When are you going to understand that I would do anything for you? She looked at him. Really looked at him. This man who had read her diary by accident, who had seen her most private thoughts and hadn't turned away, who had given her a chance when no one else would, who had flown across the country at a moment's notice because she needed him. I love you, she said simply. Rowan's face broke into a smile so bright it nearly took her breath away. I love you too. I think I have from the start. Even though I asked you to keep your distance, even though I was afraid of what people would think, even then, Rowan assured her, although I'm hoping that might change now. Layla thought about how small those concerns seemed now, in light of what had almost happened to her mother. Life was too short for fear, too short for holding back. It already has, she said, squeezing his hand. No more hiding. No more worrying about what others think, just us being honest with each other and with the world. Just us, Rowan agreed, lifting her hand to his lips. That sounds perfect to me. Eleanor's surgery was a success. Layla stayed in Chicago for 2 weeks, helping her mother adjust to life at home during her recovery. As promised, Rowan flew back for the surgery, sitting with Layla in the waiting room for 6 long hours, his hand steady in hers. You don't have to stay the whole time, Layla had told him. I know you have meetings. They can wait, Rowan had replied simply. And that was that. When it was time for Layla to return to New York, her mother pulled her aside for a private conversation. That man loves you, Eleanor said, nodding toward Rowan, who was loading Layla's suitcase into the waiting car. Really loves you. I know, Mom. Good, Eleanor smiled. Because I've never seen you look at anyone the way you look at him. Not even Jake. Layla winced at the mention of her ex. Jake was a mistake. Maybe, Eleanor shrugged. Or maybe he was just preparing you for the right one. Layla hugged her mother carefully, mindful of her healing incision. I'll be back in a few weeks to check on you, and you promise to call every day. I will, Eleanor assured her. Now go. Your life is waiting for you in New York. On the flight back, Layla rested her head on Rowan's shoulder, exhausted but relieved. The past 2 weeks had been a whirlwind of emotions, fear, relief, gratitude, and through it all, Rowan had been her rock. Thank you, she said softly, for everything. Rowan kissed the top of her head. You don't need to thank me. Yes, I do, Layla insisted, lifting her head to look at him. You've done so much for me, and I've been so afraid to fully accept it, to accept you. What were you afraid of? Rowan asked. Layla thought for a moment. That I didn't deserve it. That one day you'd realize I wasn't worth all the trouble. That you only felt something for me because you read my diary and saw a version of me that doesn't really exist. Layla. Rowan's voice was gentle. The woman I fell in love with isn't just the one in those diary pages. It's the woman who stood up to me in my office, who questioned my motives, who worked tirelessly on her collection, who flew across the country for her mother without hesitation. That's the real you, and that's who I love." Layla felt tears prick her eyes. "I love you too, and I'm done being afraid." Back in New York, life moved at a dizzying pace. The article in Style and Culture magazine came out, featuring a full-page photo of Layla in her red dress. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Orders began to come in, not just for the red dress, but for the entire collection. "I can't keep up," Layla told Rowan one evening as they sat in her studio, surrounded by order forms and fabric swatches. "I need to hire staff, find a bigger production space, set up a proper business structure." "I know someone who can help with that," Rowan said. "Alex Davenport's wife runs a small fashion production company. They specialize in helping independent designers scale up." "That would be amazing," Layla said, "but I want to be clear about something. I need to do this on my own terms. I want to build this the right way." "What are you saying?" "I'm saying I don't want handouts anymore. I want to pay for services, hire people fairly, get proper investors if needed." Rowan studied her face. "You want me to step back from the business side of things?" "Not completely," Layla clarified. "I value your advice, your connections, but I need to know I can do this on my own." Instead of being hurt, Rowan smiled. "I'm proud of you, you know that. Most people in your position would just take the easy path. You're choosing the harder one, but it's the right one. So you understand." "Of course I do," Rowan said. "I'll introduce you to Alex's wife, but the rest is up to you. And for what it's worth, I have no doubt you'll succeed." True to his word, Rowan connected Layla with Sophia Davenport, a no-nonsense businesswoman who took one look at Layla's collection and agreed to help. Within a month, Layla had a small team working for her, a proper production schedule, and her first retail account with a boutique in Soho. Layla's relationship with Rowan grew stronger as well. They no longer hid their connection, appearing together at industry events where Layla was now invited as a designer in her own right. To her surprise, there was little gossip about favoritism or shortcuts. Her work spoke for itself. 6 months. After the night of the charity gala, Layla was preparing for her first official runway show at New York Fashion Week. It was a small presentation, not one of the main events, but it was a foot in the door, a chance to show her expanded collection to a wider audience. The night before the show, Layla was a bundle of nerves. She paced around Rowan's penthouse apartment, where she'd been spending most of her nights lately. "What if they hate it?" she asked, running her hands through her hair. "What if I trip on the runway when I take my bow? What if the models don't show up?" Rowan caught her hands, stopping her mid-pace. "Hey, look at me!" Layla forced herself to meet his eyes. "Tomorrow is going to be amazing," he said. "Your designs are incredible. The models have all confirmed. And if you trip, I'll be right there to catch you. Promise?" "Promise." He kissed her softly. "Now come to bed. You need rest." As they lay together in the darkness, Layla thought about how far she'd come in less than a year. From desperate job applicant to fashion week designer. From lonely diarist to loved woman. It seemed impossible, yet here she was. "I can hear you thinking," Rowan murmured, his arm tightening around her waist. "Sleep, Layla." She smiled in the dark, snuggling closer to him. "Yes, sir." The day of the show dawned bright and clear. Layla was at the venue early, overseeing every detail of the presentation. The collection had grown to 15 pieces, each one a reflection of her vision. Bold yet wearable, unique yet accessible. Rowan arrived mid-morning with coffee and pastries for Layla and her team. He stayed in the background, offering support when needed but giving her space to direct her show. Layla caught his eye across the room and felt a surge of gratitude. He understood what she needed, even when she didn't say it out loud. The hours flew by in a blur of last-minute alterations, model fittings and lighting checks. Before Layla knew it, it was time. The small venue was packed with press, buyers, and industry insiders. Layla peeked through a crack in the backstage curtain, her heart pounding. "Nervous?" a voice asked behind her. It was Sophia Davenport. "Terrified," Layla admitted. "Good," Sophia nodded. "Means you care. But remember, you've earned this moment. Every stitch, every late night, every decision led you here. Now go show them what you can do." The music started, a pulsing beat that matched Layla's racing heart. One by one, the models walked the runway, showcasing her designs. The red dress, now her signature piece, drew audible reactions from the crowd. Layla watched from backstage, hardly daring to breathe. When the last model made her final walk, it was time for Layla's bow. She stepped onto the runway, blinking in the bright lights. For a moment, she felt frozen. Then she saw Rowan in the front row, his smile encouraging, his eyes filled with pride. She walked to the end of the runway, took her bow, and felt the applause wash over her. It wasn't just polite clapping, it was enthusiastic, genuine. As she turned to go backstage, she caught Marissa Winters, the magazine editor, nodding approvingly. Backstage was chaos, congratulations, hugs, press wanting interviews. Layla moved through it all in a daze, answering questions, accepting compliments, and then suddenly Rowan was there, pulling her into a quiet corner. "You did it," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "You were amazing." "We did it," Layla corrected him. "I wouldn't be here without you." "No," Rowan shook his head. "This was all you, Layla. I just gave you the space to become who you already were." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Layla's eyes widened. "Rowan, don't worry," he said quickly. "It's not a ring, not yet, that's coming, but I know you need time." He opened the box. Inside was a key. "What's this?" Layla asked. "A key to a space in the garment district," Rowan explained. "Twice the size of your current studio. It's yours, not a gift, but a proper lease in your name. I just helped secure it before someone else could grab it." Layla took the key, turning it over in her hand. "Thank you, this is perfect." "There's something else," Rowan said, looking suddenly nervous. "A question." "What is it?" "Move in with me," he said. "Not because it's convenient or because you're at my place most nights anyway, but because I want to build a life with you, Layla. I want to wake up with you every morning and go to sleep with you every night. I want us to be a team in everything." Layla felt tears in her eyes. This man, who could have anyone, wanted her. The real her, flaws and all? "Yes," she said. "Yes, I'll move in with you." Rowan pulled her close, kissing her deeply. When they broke apart, they were both grinning. "We should get back," Layla said, gesturing to the crowd still mingling outside. "People will be looking for me." "One more minute," Rowan said, holding her hands. "I have something I need to tell you." "What is it?" "I've been thinking a lot about that day, the day you sent your diary instead of your resume. Most people would call it a mistake, but I think it was fate." Layla smiled. "Maybe it was. Either way, I'm glad it happened." "Me too," Rowan said, "because now I know the real you, not just the polished version people show in interviews or on resumes. The real, raw, beautiful you. And you still love me," Layla marveled. "I love you because of it," Rowan corrected. "Because you're real in a world of pretend. And I promise to always see you, Layla, the real you." Layla felt a sense of peace wash over her. All those months ago, she'd written in her diary about feeling invisible, about watching everyone else get ahead while she remained stuck. Now, standing backstage after her first fashion show with the man she loved, she finally felt seen, not just by Rowan, but by herself. 2 months later, Layla sat in her new studio, sketching ideas for her next collection. The first one had been a success beyond her wildest dreams. The red dress had sold out 3 times over. She'd been featured in 2 more magazines and had orders from boutiques across the country. Her phone rang, her mother. "Hi, Mom, how are you feeling?" "Better every day," Eleanor said. "The doctor says I'm recovering faster than expected, but enough about me. I just saw your interview in Fashion Weekly. My daughter, the rising star," Layla laughed. "Hardly a star yet, but I'm getting there." "And how's Rowan?" Eleanor asked, the smile evident in her voice. "He's good. Great, actually. We're talking about taking a vacation next month. Maybe coming to see you." "I'd like that," Eleanor said. "He makes you happy, doesn't he?" "He does," Layla confirmed, "in ways I never expected." After they hung up, Layla walked to the large windows of her studio, looking out at the busy street below. Her life had changed so completely in less than a year. all because of a mistake, a tired, distracted moment when she'd attached the wrong file to an email. Her phone buzzed with a text from Rowan. "Dinner at that little Italian place tonight? The one where I first told you I was falling for you." Layla smiled, typing back, "Perfect. See you at 8. Love you." She set her phone down and returned to her sketches. But after a few minutes, she pushed them aside and pulled out a notebook. A new one, leather-bound and beautiful. Rowan had given it to her on the day she moved in with him. "For new thoughts," he'd said. "New dreams, new plans." Layla opened it and began to write. October 15th. "Sometimes the things we think are mistakes turn out to be the best things that ever happened to us. A year ago, I was desperate, broke, and lonely. Today, I have my own fashion line, a beautiful studio, and a man who loves me for exactly who I am. Not because I'm perfect, but because I'm real. I used to think success meant hiding the messy parts of myself. Now I know that those messy parts, the doubts, the fears, the raw ambition, are what make me who I am. They're what make my designs unique. They're what drew Rowan to me in the first place. I'm not afraid anymore, not of failing, not of being seen, not of loving with my whole heart. Because the right people, the ones who truly matter, will love you not despite your vulnerabilities, but because of them." Today, I'm starting work on my second collection, and this time, I'm not holding anything back. This time, I know exactly who I am and what I want to say with my designs. This time, I'm writing my own story, and it's only just beginning. Layla closed the notebook, a sense of contentment washing over her. She glanced at the clock, still hours before her dinner with Rowan. Time enough to finish her sketches, to bring more of her vision to life. As she picked up her pencil again, she thought about the notebook and smiled. Maybe someday she'd let Rowan read it. This time on purpose. Rowan stood outside the restaurant waiting for Layla. When he spotted her walking down the street, his heart still skipped a beat, just as it had the first time he saw her in the lobby of his building, clutching those wildflowers. "Hi," she said, reaching up to kiss him. "Hi yourself," he smiled. "Good day?" "The best," Layla said. "I finished the sketches for the new collection, and I have something for you." She reached into her bag and pulled out a small package wrapped in simple brown paper. "What's this?" Rowan asked, taking it from her. "Open it later," Layla said, "when you're alone." Curious, Rowan slipped the package into his jacket pocket. They went inside for dinner, talking and laughing over pasta and wine. Layla told him about her mother's progress, about the new designs she was working on. Rowan shared news about his company, about the plans for expansion. It was an ordinary evening in many ways, just two people sharing a meal, sharing their lives. But to Layla, it felt like a miracle. That she could be here, happy and successful, with a man who knew her deepest thoughts and loved her anyway. Later that night, after Layla had fallen asleep, Rowan remembered the package. He slipped out of bed and retrieved it from his jacket, taking it to the living room to open it. Inside was a notebook, the one he'd given her when she moved in. Attached was a small note. "This time I wrote something meant for you to read." Rowan opened the notebook, his heart full as he began to read Layla's words, her hopes, her dreams, her love for him written on every page. Not by accident this time, but by choice. When he finished reading, he returned to the bedroom looking at Layla sleeping peacefully. He thought about the strange twist of fate that had brought them together. A wrong attachment on an email, a moment of curiosity that led him to read something he shouldn't have. Gently, so as not to wake her, he slipped back into bed beside her. Layla stirred slightly, instinctively moving closer to him in her sleep. Rowan wrapped his arm around her, holding her close. "Thank you," he whispered into the darkness. "For what?" Layla murmured, half asleep. "For letting me see you," Rowan said softly. "The real you." Layla smiled drowsily. "Always," she promised before drifting back to sleep. Rowan lay awake a while longer, thinking about second chances and happy accidents, about how sometimes the things we aren't supposed to see are exactly the things we need most in our lives. He closed his eyes, holding the woman he loved, feeling more content than he'd ever thought possible. Some mistakes, it turned out, were the best things that could ever happen to you. The end.